Okay. Okay. Hello and welcome all to this webinar. This is Ibrahim Izzat from BMI Saudi chapter. This webinar's title is The Rise of AI, How AI is Revolutionizing Project Management. I am your host for today, and I am delighted to introduce our speaker, Mr. Mashoud Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed is an expert on artificial intelligence and its application in project management. He has been conducting research on this topic since 2017. He has presented his findings at various events around the world. He is also a seasoned project management practitioner, consultant, instructor, and advisor. He holds a master's degree from the University of Waterloo, in addition to several professional certifications in project management, risk management, information system auditing, Lean Six Sigma, and Scaled Agile. In this webinar, Mr. Ahmed will share his insights on how AI is transforming the way projects are managed. He will explain how AI can help the project manager optimize their tasks, enhance their team performance, and improve their project outcomes. He will also discuss how AI can enable project managers to deliver more value and innovation to their stakeholders. This webinar will be interactive and engaging. You will have the opportunity to ask questions and share your thoughts with Mr. Ahmed and other participants. Please use the chat box or the Q&A feature to submit your questions and comments. We will try to address as many as possible during the webinar. Without further ado, let me hand over the mic to Mr. Ahmed. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome. Mr. Ahmed, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim, for the warm introduction. Experience with the PMI Saudi chapter. When I started doing research on AI, the topic was how AI will revolutionize project management. And since the launch of ChatGPT and the floodgate of AI tools out there in the market, the topic becomes how AI is revolutionizing project management practice today. So we will look into some of those scenarios, and I would need some collaboration from you to help build this engaging webinar. Okay, I'm not a robot, avatar, or hologram. I'm a verified human. Hello and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mashoud Ahmed. I'm a project management practitioner and consultant. For the last 18, 20 years, I've been working in the project management field. And last for 7 years, I've been doing research on AI and project management. I also advise some of the companies on how to leverage AI into daily practice for developing project management software. As Dr. Ibrahim introduced me in introduction, I got my PMP in 2008 and a bunch of other certifications. I am also working on a new app called Project Management Assistant.ai. Right? So that's a solution that I'm working on, and I would appreciate if you guys can provide some of your feedback. I do speak on the PMI floor. This week I will be going to PMI Global. If any one of you happen to be at PMI Global, come and listen to my talk on Saturday morning. It will be about the balance scorecard and portfolio management. If you have other chapter members that are coming to the PMI Global, do let them know that I will be there and will be happy to connect with them. Beside that, I do volunteer for a number of committees and a number of boards on the topic of AI, project management, IT audit and control, and other areas of interest. So with that, you have access to my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to connect with me on the LinkedIn. Send me a message if you have any question or if you want to discuss furthermore. We'll be happy to help you out. So with that, now I'm gonna jump into patterns. So before I get started, what I would like to do here is to talk about the patterns. Patterns are things that repeat itself. And if we start understanding how things repeat itself, we can better predict what's going to happen in future. So let's look into the learning from the patterns from the industrial revolution. So we all understand the industrial revolution, right? So the first industrial revolution was mechanization, steam power, water power, oil and gas exploration, and this is all I'm talking about, in the early 90s, right? So that industrial revolution lasted about 150 years. Then we get to the mass production or the second industrial revolution in 1940s after the Second World War II, and we see that oil exploration becomes a reality, and we see the production line, we see the factories doing the great work, and then that was enormous thing. But that kind of a stop at around sometime in 80s and 90s with the advancement of computer automation and the birth of internet. That brings us to the third industrial revolution. And that industrial revolution brings us to now in 2023, about 30 years. Um, so, what is the pattern here? First industrial revolution was about 150 years. Second was about 70 years. Third, about 30 years. The fourth industrial revolution will be much more smaller, maybe 10, 15, or 20 years. And what happens whenever the industrial revolution happens is people lose their jobs because automation happens, because factory can do produce things at mass production, right? So people lose their job because they are not catching up with their skills. So same thing will happen with the fourth industrial revolution. Some of us will be losing our job, or our jobs will be displaced, and we have to learn the new skill. This is the first time in the human history that our generation and our future generation will see multiple industrial revolution in their lifetime, meaning they have to adopt and change. So that brings us to the learning, which is the most important skill set in this world, in this time, is our ability to unlearn and our ability to relearn. Let's digest this. What I mean by ability to unlearn, we have learned so much from school age to our profession and then our 10, 15, 20 years of working profession. And we kind of think that is the only right way. With all this technological changing happening at fast, we need to unlearn and then relearn the new way. How can we do it faster, quicker by using the technology or by using the voice enabled technology and things like that? So, the important skill set that all of us need to develop is our ability to unlearn and ability to relearn the new way. So before I get into the project management and AI, let me just, quickly go over the AI. I believe everybody understand what AI is, but just for simplicity, it's the ability for computers to perform tasks that normally requires human intelligence and to imitate human behavior, which is problem solving, learning and reasoning, giving me a logical answer, visual perception, voice recognition, data analysis, pattern analysis, and many more. Here, I want to emphasize one more thing. The term AI or artificial intelligence was coined in 1950s by Alan Turing. Now, the concept was there, but it did not become reality until late 90s when the IBM Watson played the beat the chess game. So here we have three types of categories that we are currently working on. The first one is generative AI, also known as Gen AI. The second is specialized AI, and the third is hybrid AI. So let's look into what is generative AI. Generative AI is an AI that can generate content. It can, examples, large language models like ChatGPT, image generating software like Midjourney. There are so many softwares out there that can develop PowerPoint slides for you, right? So those AI that can generate content for us is called generative AI. Then we have a specialized AI. So if somebody is familiar with a hospital environment, radiologists look at large number of images to detect signs of cancer. And that is a specialized area of AI. Another specialized area of AI is, for example, in oil and gas facilities. We look at, the lifespan of a particular item or particular machinery component. Before it breaks, we need to fix it in an effective manner, right? So that's in specialized AI specific to that particular industry or niche. The hybrid AI is combination of these two, right? Where you combine generative and other types of AI along with specialized AI to come up with a new solution that can help you do your job better. So in next few slides, I will share some research findings so that we understand what is happening in the industry. So the first one is from Harvard Business Review. They famously said that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace human without AI. What it means is that AI is a tool. If you are not using the tool and somebody else is using the tool, they will do job faster and more accurate, and they will replace you because you are not using those tools. The other research, and again, this is quite an old research from 2019, where Gartner says 80% of today's project management tasks will be eliminated by 2030 as AI takes over. We will do a live demo of ChatGPT, and you will see how many of the project management tasks that we don't like can be easily eliminated by simply using ChatGPT or similar large language models. Next, I want to talk about technology trends. So here is a technology trend that is happening. As I mentioned, AI was introduced in 1950s, but because we did not have the algorithms to perform that much computation at a very fast rate, we were not able to achieve AI prior. Same thing, we did not have access to the infrastructure. Right now with cloud or software as a service or SaaS, which is everything as a service, we can, set up the infrastructure within hours instead of months and years. The next is IoT, Internet of Things, right? So connected devices that can share the real-time data and that can help us make better decision. And last and the most important is the data. Here I'm putting data in two subsets. One is structured data and other is unstructured data. What I mean by structured data is data in tables, data in spreadsheets and rows and columns, databases. That is the structured data. And we have built applications like ERP, maintenance software, solutions using this structured data. However, we have not assessed how we can leverage unstructured data that exists in our business that can provide us insight that currently we do not have access to. So that includes like SharePoint, your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your contents in Word document, in PDF, lesson learned that nobody reads, right? So all that unstructured data is there within the business, but because of technology, we are not leveraging it. And if we start leveraging unstructured data, it will give us very useful insights. The other one I want to talk about is paradigm shift. So all of us have a cell phone, which has more computing power than the computer we used to send to the moon, right? Now, what we are seeing since the introduction of mobile is that we are moving away from graphic user interface to voice enabled systems, meaning all of us have Google Home, Amazon Alexa, or Apple Siri at home, and our kids use those devices every single day. Now, when they get to the business, when they get to the work field, they would expect those devices to be there in the business rather than inputting things like from keyboard and mouse, which is tedious. Why we don't have the voice enable or voice powered systems that can help us do our job better in the future. So, this is the paradigm shift that will continue to happen. And then this is a slide from PwC Switzerland. They did this research in 2018, and that was my start of my real research into AI and project management. And what they predict is we have this integration and automation, and I think this phase is past where we have email, checklist, Jira ticket, announcements that we can do. And now we are in a chatbot assistant phase where we can use ChatGPT, for example, to do a lot of things for us, and we will see in the demo. Then we have machine learning based project management. Think of it like a specialized AI for the project managers, right? And if we get successful in that, there could be a point in future where we might have autonomous project management function as a software that can manage small to medium sized projects for us. So that's kind of a roadmap presented by the PwC in 2018. And I think it gives us real reality of what the future would be. So one question I ask in my speaks is there anyone in this group who likes to take the meeting minutes? Do we have anyone who loves to take the meeting minutes? Let me check the chat. Raise your hand if you like. Okay. Okay. So So meeting minutes, in my experience, is one of the tough job for our project managers to do, right? Because it's just tedious. I need to track who said what, who's gonna do what, and sometimes I have scribbled notes or my notes on OneNote that I cannot read. I forget to capture information details, and this is what we will see how chatbot assistant can help project managers in taking the meeting minutes and go from there. Same thing with task status and status report, right? I mean, we all have to write the status report on Thursday or Friday evening, and that takes a lot of effort from the project managers to pull the information, right? And again, this is all unstructured data within the organization. And then we always have to remind our team member that they are supposed to review a document or they need to complete an assessment or give us something by this deadline, right? And as a project manager, we are always chasing. Sometimes we have to find the information in a Word document, 50-page document, open the document and find something that is on page 23, right? So it just takes a lot of time. With AI and chatbot assistant, it can do this. Automatic language translation, especially for folks in Saudi Arabia, everybody speaks English, but again, there are still a population that only speak Arabic, right? Now, imagine if you have a tool where people can speak Arabic and people can speak English, and at the same time, they can have a live conversation. That is possible today using these AI tools. Talking about machine learning or specialized AI tool, right? So again, once those tools will become available, they will help predict and determine when deadlines will be missed. And if the deadline is going to miss, it will revise and update the project baseline based on realistic information. It will help manage the project scope or the scope creep, cost estimate, and slippage in the work due to a new risk. And if that risk is materialized, there could be cost overrun. And all of those information we captured in lesson learned, right? Saying, hey, I'm closing the project. These are my lesson learned, meaning if we have to do this type of project again, what we would do differently. And that document is usually required by the PMO, and project managers complete that document, save it, and nobody reads it or nobody takes any learning out of it. Now, with power of AI, you can leverage that learning on the fly from the project that was completed many, many years ago. So now I'm going to move into generative AI landscape and kind of a talk about what is happening. So we have many, many AI tools available. Most famously, we have Google Bard, we have ChatGPT, and we also have Meta or the Facebook Llama, right? There's a Cloudy 2 and number of others tools that I cannot list, right? There are thousands of them out there, and it's growing very, very fast. For the sake of this presentation, today we will be using ChatGPT, and my talk is not sponsored by Microsoft or ChatGPT, right? So what we have here in ChatGPT comes with like three ways to connect. The first one is a web interface that we will use today. The second is API interface, which is like a paid version. And if you use the API or the paid version, your data will not be used to train the model. So that's a protection of your data. And then open source. Since ChatGPT is open source, you can download ChatGPT, install your own server, and make it work within your corporate boundaries so that your data is secure. The other thing I want to mention is that ChatGPT has two versions, 3.5 and 4. 3.5 is a free version, while the ChatGPT 4 is a paid version, right? So you have to pay for that one. Now I'm gonna go to my next slide and we'll do the ChatGPT live in action. I need either four volunteers of our moderators to play the role of Maha, Khalid, Jamal, and Muhammad. And what I would like to do is to read the script that we have on the screen. So can we get four volunteers or moderators if we can read this one? I could be one of them who would read the script. So, Dr. Ibrahim?
Hello, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to read this paragraph?
Yes, I want to read the paragraph, but I want to have like two or three people read the paragraph. So if we don't have two or three people, either, me and you, we can read one by one, right? So,
Okay. Let's start with you. I will start with you.
okay.
Maha, صباح الخير. Thanks for joining our weekly project call. Let's keep this meeting short. Khalid, did you review the vendor security assessment? If it's not approved, it could pose a major risk to our project.
Got They are using FTP for file transfer, which is not secure. We recommend switching to API integration.
Jamal, that might require architectural change and a 2-week project delay. Khalid, remember our chat with the vendor?
Yes, the vendor can do API integration, but needs 2 extra weeks. If we proceed with FTP, our security team will not approve, risking a data breach and unwanted media attention. Wallahi ya akhi.
Maha, based on this meeting and the team assessment, I'll inform the sponsor, Abdullah, about the 2-week delay and extra charge from the vendor for ABI.
No, Khalil from the vendor confirmed no budget impact. They prefer API too.
Maha, fantastic. I'll formalize the change request and get sign off within 2 weeks. Jamal, can you please update the use cases?
Jamal, I will start and aim to have them ready for review next.
Muhammad, I'll coordinate the use case and test case review by mid next week.
Okay, Maha. Please join Muhammad and Jamal to review and prep the data integration testing as well. We will target to finish the data preparation next week. Maha again, great. Based on security recommendation, we will postpone the go live to mid next month for the proper patient data security. Any concerns or issue with our dates or commitments?
Khalid, we are good.
Muhammad, no concerns from me.
Khalid, just a note, API integration sometimes take longer. Consider having a contingency plan. Maha.
Maha, we already tested their API and it is straightforward. Khalid, excellent. That reduces the risk for my team. Thank you everyone for contribution and help us navigate these changes. So now you can see what is happening in this meeting, right? It's a small script from a meeting where there was security concern raised, the project will be delayed, there's no cost impact. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask ChatGPT number of questions. So My first question is, I'm working as a project manager. I will enter a meeting transcription. Based on this meeting transcription, can you please provide me short summary in 200 words? So let me just change my screen, go here, and I'll say, okay, I am working as a project manager. I will enter meeting transcription. Based on this meeting transcription, can you please provide me summary under 200 words? Okay. And I'm making the spelling mistakes. So ChatGPT is smart enough to understand this. So I'm just gonna click next. And you can see my ChatGPT screen. Can anybody confirm me, please?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna hit enter, and then it says, of course, it will do. Please provide the meeting transcription. So now I'm gonna go to my meeting transcription, and I'm gonna do Control A, Control C, and go back to my ChatGPT window and hit done. Okay. Now see how quickly it is happening. Okay. So Khalid highlighted significant security risk due to the vendor use FTP for file transfer. Khalid recommended switching to API, even though it may result in 2 weeks delay. Jamal expressed concern about architectural changes, but agreed to 2 weeks delay for API integration. Khalil from vendor confirmed the API integration would not incur additional charges. Maha decided to inform sponsor Abdullah about 2 week delay and formalize change request. Jamal and Muhammad agreed to update this, and the go live date will be postponed to mid next week. Next month, Khalid emphasized need for contingency plan. In conclusion, meeting addressed critical security issue and introduced 2 weeks delay for API integration. Okay, so that's my first summary that I just enter the text and it gives me the results in less than 10 seconds. Now I'm going to go back to my slide and see what next questions I may have. So here I can also use these two functions, which is regenerate. So I can click on regenerate. It will regenerate the response in a similar language or different language. And then you can copy, use this one to copy, and thumbs up and thumbs down if you like or do not like the response. So now I'm going to go to my next slide and say, based on the same meeting transcription, can you please give me action items in table format with action details, action owner, and target dates? So what happens as a project manager, we go to meetings, we need to follow up with the people, whoever agreed on what they're going to do, right? So I'm just going to say, oh, okay, so go back here based on the same transcript. Um, Give me action item table with action owner and target deadlines. Okay, target deadlines. And I type and I start getting the table in real time, right? So Khalid review vendor security assessment within this week, explore API integration. Khalid, Maha inform sponsor about 2 weeks delay, formalize change request. Maha, Jamal update use case. Muhammad and Jamal coordinate use case and test case review. Muhammad and Jamal prepare data for integration testing. Maha postpone go live date mid next month and develop contingency plan ongoing, right? So now you can see that Maha, as a project manager, can now have access to this and she knows that who needs to do what and she can easily follow up with them, right? So no more looking at the notes, right? Just use the chat GPT for this function. Now I'm gonna ask more question, and my next question would be, based on the meeting transcription, how long the project go live will be pushed? So I'm just gonna ask this question. Uh, Based on meeting transcription, how long go live will be delayed, right? So I can use the word delayed or pushed uh, It will get it. So it clearly says that the go live will be delayed to mid next month due to security concern and switch to API integration. The specific duration delay is not provided, but it can be assumed to be approximately 2 weeks. What was happening in the meeting transcription, because we were not talking about the actual dates, whether it's 15th or 21st or 30th of the month, it just assumes it's 2 weeks because we talked about 2 weeks few time in the meeting transcription. Now, as a project manager, my question would be, if my project is delayed, is there a cost impact, right? So I would ask, is there a cost implication? So is there any cost implication due to delay in project? And let's see what it says. Uh, Meeting does not provide mention of any specific cost implication due to delay in project. Khalid mentioned that there will be no budget impact from the vendor side from switching API. However, it is essential to consider that project delay can potentially lead to indirect cost implication. Now, you can see that there is no direct cost to the vendor, but it's an indirect cost because now my team need to work 2 more extra weeks, and that could be done for any other project, right? So there's an indirect cost, such as additional resource, expense, potential loss of revenue, increased operational costs. These implications are not discussed in the provided transcript, so it's advisable to monitor and assess these factors as project progresses. So here is my expert project companion, my assistant, who is helping me on step by step what do I need to do to become the best project manager. Now, I have asked a few questions. Now, I'm going to ask a few more questions on this. Um, Please provide me 3 high probability risk for the project go live so that I have proactively managed as a project manager. Okay. Now, I'm going to say, please provide me 3 high risk for the project go live so that I can manage this project proactively. Okay. Okay. So let's see what risk it gives me. So it gives me some of the risk, and now it's giving me some ways to manage it, right? So I'm gonna go up and read security and compliance risk, project schedule delay, integration challenges. Remember, Khalid mentioned that sometimes integration does not work, right? So there could be some integration challenges. And how do I manage these? Regular monitoring and access, communication, have a contingency plan, have a quality assurance, right? Because in meeting we were talking about the testing and quality and use cases. So that will help us provide quality and resource, make sure the right people are available on the project to manage this project, which is now time sensitive, right? So now we have seen in 5 prompt what is happening. I'm gonna ask sixth question. Well, we already asked this question, right? Based on, yeah, we already asked this. Now, one thing that was a little different for me, I do not speak Arabic. I know a little bit Arabic, and I just put the word yahi, right? Wallahi, wallahi yahi, right? So I would ask this question, what does wallahi yahi means in this context? Because Khalid used that, and I'm not sure was he angry or happy or sad. So I'm just gonna ask, um, what does wallahi akhi means in this context? And you, let's see what it says. So, wallahi ya akhi is likely an Arabic expression. Wallahi is commonly Arabic word used to swear by God or to emphasize the sincerity of an statement. Akhi is an informal Arabic term that can be used to address someone as a brother or my brother, right? In this context, Wallahi akhi can loosely translate I swear by God, my brother. It is used here to emphasize or to express sincerity in Khalid's statement about the security concern associated with using FTP. So even if you do not know any terms or any terminologies, you can still put through ChatGPT and it will give you the answer. Now, I'm gonna open the floor and maybe I would like to ask you what questions, what prompts would you ask ChatGPT based on this transcription? So if you want to type in the chat, I can have a look. And so again, the boundaries is what happened during the meeting, and based on the meeting, what would you ask to help you become a better project manager so that you don't lose anything? Oh, it's in Q&A, I believe, right? So do you have experience with AI hallucination? My next slide is about AI hallucination. So hold on to that one. Hope this webinar video will be accessible through PMI website for future reference. If recorded by PMI Saudi Arabia, yes, it will be available. I'm doing a similar seminar December 4th for projectmanagement.com, so it can be available from there. AI can assist in resource management, risk management, project control, yes, but how can we ensure the digital infrastructure security while using AI? That is a very in-depth question. My recommendation is before you start using ChatGPT, make sure you get a written permission and approval from your IT security officer, your privacy officer, and your legal, because you don't want to breach the security and risk your company, right? So make sure you get their approval, and once you get their blessings, then yes, you can use this. And again, security will always be a concern. AI ethics will always be a concern, right? I mean, this is a technology that will take us to the other one. Okay, what are the role of each member on the team? So let's ask this question. So I will, so who asked this question? Abdurrahman Al-Shadidi asked, what are the role of the each team members? So I'll go back to transcription. Based on transcription, what are the roles of each team member? So we did not mention who is the project manager, who is the security, who is analyst or others. Let's see what ChatGPT would guess. Okay, click next. So, okay, so I'll let it stop. So Maha is a project manager. Okay, her primary role is to oversee the entire project. She's responsible for coordinating team, making decision. That's correct. Khalid is involved in security and technical aspects of the project. He reviewed the vendor security assessment. So yes, Khalid is security guy. Jamal's role in this meeting is not explicitly defined, but he is actively engaged in discussion. He raises concern about architectural required API integration, 2 weeks delay. He mentions updating the use case. So again, the role for Jamal was not clear. Muhammad, like Jamal, Muhammad's specific role was not mentioned, but he agrees to coordinate test case and repairs. His involvement suggests he's likely part of a technical or testing team. So again, we did not mention any of these roles, but based on the meeting transcription, ChatGPT can accurately or very closely guess that, Muhammad is a testing and technical team, Jamal is technical, Khalid is security, and Maha is the project manager. Any other question that you would ask? Okay. Generate a schedule for project and benchmark it with industry. That's a very good question, but again, you need to be aware the industry benchmark, you need to provide what industry benchmark you are using as a reference, right? Because if you don't provide those boundaries, it can, the chat GPT can mess up things. But what I would do is I would ask this question based on transcription, provide me a project schedule. Okay. And I'm going to hit enter transcription. I'm making spelling mistake. It will figure it out. So now it gives me 7 weeks of the plan, right? So week 1, security assessment decision making. Week 2, technical preparation. Week 3, integration testing. Week 4, postpone go live. Contingency plan, final preparations, go live. Now, I want to warn one thing about using any large language models or AI tool out there. Do not copy paste and say this is true. Copy paste, review it, make sure it does make sense because sometimes it does not make sense completely. So, for example, in this case, postpone go live is happening in week 4. While I think we agreed in the meeting that the go live postpone, we can postpone it now. So that's something that could be done in the week 1, right? So always use ChatGPT as your starting ground where you are not looking at like a blank page, but make sure you read every single thing because whatever you publish as a status report, people will question you. So don't let ChatGPT mistakes to be your mistakes. Generate a schedule. Then Ahmad is asking, is any alternative solution to provided one? So okay, is there a solution? Is it a question for this API integration one? Can chatbot record and document meeting minutes based on Arabic language? Um, yes, there are some specialized software in, for example, in Teams and in Zoom, you can enable meeting transcription. It does an okay job. It does not do like a very good job, but at least it's a good starting point. And again, in the next few slides, I will talk about a tool that I am developing that could help project managers in future. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my slides and we'll cover the rest of the talk. AI hallucination. So somebody was asking a question about AI hallucination. What is hallucination? It's a false perception of an object or an event. And what happens when AI models mix up information through false perception or false connection, it does not make sense because AI try to link so much of unstructured data that it just makes false assumptions. And this happens when the context and the boundaries are not set properly. And what I mean by context and boundaries, as you have seen in the way I was prompting ChatGPT, I was setting up the boundary every single time. And the way I did was based on the meeting transcription, provide me this. I did not ask it to provide me anything outside the boundaries. So if I set the boundaries, it gives me the correct data. If I do not set the boundaries, if I ask ChatGPT, you know, based on your internet research or anything, provide me what are the alternatives to API integration, it will give me 10 options. But again, none of those options were discussed in the meeting, so they are not relevant. So it's very, very important to use the boundaries when you prompt ChatGPT or any large language model. So what next? Where we go from here? So I am working on a project management assistant.ai. You can go to this website today. You can register. It will send you a code. And once you enter the code, you will download the AI prompt guide for project managers. So again, I developed this AI prompt guide based on the PMI PAM book, 10 knowledge areas. Each knowledge areas, I put like number of questions that you can ask. You can ask those questions in terms of context or independently, right? You can say, hey, I'm working as a project manager. This is my first meeting with my stakeholder. What do I need to do to prepare for this meeting, right? Open-ended question, and ChatGPT will give you some ideas to become better. Then I have developed, working with my team, we have developed a minimum viable product version of PM Assistant.ai where you can upload any meeting transcription. And once you upload the meeting transcription, it will send you the attendance, the people who attended the meeting, the summary, the short summary of the meeting, as well as action item in a table format. So as a project manager, you can share with your team. In future, we will be building so many functions and features, right? So I would welcome all of you to take this opportunity, download the AI prompt guide and try out our MVP and the future betas that would be releasing sometime by the end of the year. With that, the question always remains, what is the role of human? So as a human, AI will not replace us, right? AI will replace or AI will give us tools to do our job better, to augment our capabilities, to enhance our capabilities. So we still have the leadership, management, decision making capabilities. Creativity. AI can create some things, right? But again, it just may create something false that is not true that humans can interact or can relate. So, as a human, because we have the human intelligence, right? We have the emotional intelligence, we can connect with the people. AI cannot connect with people. Strategic management. Saudi Arabia is going through Vision 2030, right? It's a huge vision. So how all these mega projects align together? What do we need to do these in projects together to have the dependencies, right? I mean, all of this is like need to be done by human, and humans need to communicate and engage and work together to solve these problems. One more thing that I'm working on is I have a master class that we offer. It's called Preparing for AI Revolution, Unlocking Productivity Management Secrets for Project Managers. Next month, I will be delivering this training at PMI Binghamton, New York, in sponsorship with BAE Systems, and I'm in talks with a number of other chapters around the world to deliver this master class sometime in the new year. So if you like this talk and if you want to learn more about AI and how we can have spend like a whole day with a group of people. Maybe we can do online or in person. So if you're interested for your chapter or for your corporation or for your business unit, you can feel free to contact me and I will be happy to help. Uh, Next, my final comment, AI will assist project managers. It will not eliminate project management function completely. However, it will transform the role of project manager into strategic business enabler. That means we will have the job in future. Again, our job may not look like what we do today because AI and some tools can do better than us, like taking meeting minutes and understanding what needs to be done. Um, and we need to focus on how do we enable the strategy? How do we enable business to do their job better than before? So with that, I will open the floor for question and answer. So if anyone have any questions, comments, anything that they would like to share, feel free to, put in the question Q&A box, and Dr. Ibrahim will help us moderate the Q&A session.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for your enlightening presentation. You have given us a lot of valuable information and insights. I am sure the participants have learned a lot from you and are eager to apply AI in their own project. Actually, we have some time for the questions. We have a question here from Ibrahim Al-Hilal. Is there a way to integrate it with Primavera?
So Primavera is a project management scheduling software, right? Right now, I have not seen it, but again, if I have not seen it, does not mean it does not exist, right? So it may exist. And this week I will be at the PMI Global. I will be speaking there, and I will be meeting a number of project management vendors up there. And that's a question that I'm going to ask most of them as well to understand how they are doing. I know there are a number of small startups that are emerging out leveraging AI tools. The big companies like Primavera, Brainsview, and others, they do have like AI on the roadmap, but I'm not familiar or have any specific details about those vendors.
Okay, we have another question from Isam. Is ChatGPT can design a dashboard? If no, is there any AI tools can help?
Can ChatGPT populate my dashboard? I think I would say it depends. I would say yes, but probably you need to configure a lot of things in ChatGPT and make sure you need to provide all the backend structured and unstructured data, right? So maybe the status report of all the projects and all the risk in your risk register, and then maybe ask ChatGPT, okay, based on the risk register and the status report of these 5 projects or 10 projects, give me a dashboard with this, right? So yes, that is possible.
Another question from Ziad. Can ChatGPT give us a proper work breakdown structure for a specific project?
Can ChatGPT give us a work breakdown structure? So if you remember, it was here. So I asked the ChatGPT to give me project plan schedule, right? So it did give me some schedule, some details, and the names, right? So what should happen in week one and the names. So that will give me a starting point that I need to validate. One thing I want to mention again that I mentioned earlier is that use ChatGPT or any large language model as a draft and make sure you review it because ChatGPT can make mistakes, right? So think of it like, a young assistant, a fresh intern who just joined your PMO or your team, and he's just tagging with you. And sometimes he does very good job, and other time he does very sloppy jobs, right? So you want to review every time. The other thing I'm going to re-emphasize is before you start using ChatGPT in your business or your corporation, make sure you get a written permission from IT security, privacy, or the legal team because there are so many privacy concerns that are there, right? So you do not want to be in the news for a wrong reason, right? So let's just try to make sure that before you do this, can do this. Which other AI can help PMs other than ChatGPT? So there are a number of tools. So for example, I am helping a product called RaidLog. It's RAID, which stand for risk, actions, issues, and decisions. Right? And I have helped them build risk identification module, decision identification module based on these meeting transcription and other things. And they have incorporated in that tool. There are a number of tools out there, right? So, I mean, there are so many tools out there. You can do what I did today. You can do the same thing with Google Bard. You can use with Cloudy 2, or you can use with MetaLlama.
Another question from Enrico. How do you see AI governance in the next few years as these tools become rapidly adopted?
Good question, Enrico. So this is where AI governance is the key, and I think most of the organization now must have like a AI governance teams to understand where we should use AI and where we should not use AI. What type of data should be open to AI and what type of data should not be open to AI. And companies who will adopt AI, they will be competing with the companies who are not adopting, right? So it's very important to set the governance. And yes, this is one of the prerequisite where our IT governance, IT security, the privacy, and the legal team need to sit together.
Another question from Muhammad Yusuf. Are there any organization around the world who is standardizing the legal aspect of using AI, or is there any preparation for such organization?
So there are some and they are not, right? So for example, in Singapore, they have released the guidelines for AI, like what you can and cannot use. EU is very strict in terms of AI. US is open. Canada is also very strict. We have some strict privacy laws. So this is evolving. This is not set, and I think it will like countries need to set up their own AI privacy and AI governance framework, legal framework, what people should or should not be able to do using those AI tools.
Another question from Ibrahim Al-Hilal. Is it possible to create an internal generation AI like ChatGPT internally in my organization and train it based on the existing data? If yes, what are the building blocks to do so?
Yes. So that is definitely possible. And again, this is something that I advise some companies on. So for example, ChatGPT is open source. Google Bard, you can download that as well, along with Meta Llama. So you can download those source code within your infrastructure and set the security parameters around it and test the waters. My recommendation is to test a pilot, have like a pilot group where you test AI capabilities, what AI can and cannot do or should not do, right? And then set those boundaries that will allow the AI governance within the organization.
Uh, okay. Another question from Hussein. I work in project control and I want to integrate ChatGPT with work. How can I get benefits of the ChatGPT in project control?
So project control, as I understand, is more about the project governance, making sure projects are executing on time, right? So example I would use is the meeting minutes, right? And the action item, and then making sure people are accountable to their actions, right? If somebody says that I will do this in 2 weeks and that is not delivered in 2 weeks, that whole project could be delayed, right? So making people accountable for their action and for the decision is something that AI can help, similar to what I just showed in the meeting transcription.
The final question, can AI be used on engineering design, research and development?
Yes, it could be used, and again, that would be example of specialized AI that we can use in the specific engineering discipline, right? So, for example, the ship construction is a total different business than oil and gas operations, right? And oil is gas within oil and gas, oil is different type of operation, gas is different type of operation, right? The oil extraction, the way it happens in Saudi Arabia and the way it happens in Canada is totally different, right? So again, those would be the examples of specialized AI.
Okay, finally, thank you all for joining us today for this webinar on the rise of AI, how AI is revolutionizing project management. We hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. We would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Mashoud Ahmed, for his excellent presentation and his insightful answers to the questions. Mr. Ahmed, you have shared our expertise and experience with us and inspired us to embrace AI in our project. We are very grateful for your time and generosity. We would
Mhm.
also like to thank Engineer Badr Bourshid, the BMI Saudi chapter president, for his continued support and directions. Engineer Badr is a great visionary leader for the project management community in Saudi Arabia. We appreciate his efforts and dedication. We would also like to thank the participants for their active participation and their feedback. You have made this webinar a lively and interactive session. We appreciate your interest and in learning more about AI and the project management. I would also like to thank my coworkers who helped in preparing for this webinar. You have contributed your skills, knowledge, and creativity to every aspect of this webinar, from planning to execution. We are lucky to have such a talented and supportive team. The recording of this webinar will be available on our channel. Please feel free to share this webinar with your colleagues and friends who might be interested in this topic. If you have any further questions or comments, please don't hesitate to contact us. We hope to see you again in our future webinars. Please stay tuned for our upcoming events and announcement. Until then, take care and stay safe. This is Ibrahim Izzat from BMI Saudi chapter, and this concludes our webinar for today. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you.